Growing up, we all heard the same lecture from our parents: choose your friends wisely. They said it like one bad friendship could permanently destroy your future. Which is funny because most of us didn't even choose our own relatives. But jokes aside, there's a reason they kept repeating it. Because somewhere deep down, they understood something we rarely talk about. Your personality isn't fully yours. It's shaped quietly and constantly by people around you, by your culture, by society itself. So today, let's unpack how society slowly designs who you become without you ever noticing. Let me tell you about a small experiment that happened in a classroom. A group of students were asked to answer very simple questions. Things like identifying the length of lines on a board. Easy, right? Except there was a twist. Everyone in the classroom, except for a small group, was secretly instructed to give the wrong answer. And when it was the participants' turn, something strange happened. Even though the correct answer was obvious, most people still agreed with the group. Not because they were confused, not because they were stupid, but because being alone felt worse than being wrong. This experiment was conducted by psychologist Solomon Asch in the 1950s, and the results were uncomfortable. Around 75% of the participants confirmed at least once, even when the reality was right in front of them. Now, here's the scary part. This wasn't about peer pressure, no one threatened them, no one forced them. They simply adjusted. And if we can adjust our perceptions of reality just to fit in, what do you think happens to our opinions, our values, or our personalities? And this isn't just about classrooms or psychology experiments. From the way we speak, to what we think is normal, to how we define success, beauty, and intelligence, society plays a quiet but powerful role in shaping us. In this video, we are going to explore how society influences the way we think, behave, and even see ourselves, often without us realizing it. Before society ever reached us, there was family. That brings us to the next segment, family conditioning, where your normal was decided. Long before we had opinions, before we even knew what right or wrong meant, we learned one powerful thing: what feels normal. Psychologists call this primary socialization, the stage where your brain is most absorbent, most trusting, and most unprotected. As children, we don't question our environment, we absorb it. If emotions were openly expressed at home, vulnerability feels safe. If silence was rewarded, silence becomes strength. If obedience was praised, questioning feels dangerous. And none of this happens continuously. Your brain is simply learning one rule: this is how you survive here. What's fascinating is that most family conditioning has nothing to do with logic. It's not about what your parents said, it's about what they modeled. A parent who says, be confident, but avoids conflict teaches fear. A household that values grades over curiosity teaches performance, not learning. A family that avoids emotional conversations teaches emotional avoidance. And over time, these patterns stop feeling learned and they start feeling like a personality. Here's the uncomfortable part. Most of what you call your nature was actually nurtured. The way you react to authority, the way you handle criticism, the way you choose partners, friends, even ambitions, these aren't random traits. They are adaptations. And this isn't about blaming parents. Most parents don't pass down beliefs. They pass down unresolved fears, coping mechanisms, and unfinished emotional businesses. So when we say, I'm just like this, what we often mean is, this is what kept me safe while growing up. But family doesn't shape us alone, right? This prepares us to move from family to society. The social mirror expands. As we grow older, something subtle happens. Our family stops being the only mirror. School, friends, teachers, social media, culture, they all start reflecting versions of who we should be. And slowly we begin editing ourselves. We keep the parts that are rewarded and hide the parts that are ignored or rejected, not because they're fake, but because belonging has always been our survival instinct. Culture isn't something we consciously follow, it's something we grew up inside. By the time we are old enough to question it, it already feels like common sense. Think about how you make decisions. Do you ask yourself, what do I want? Or do you ask, how will this affect others? Most of us don't choose which question feels natural. Culture chooses it for us. Some people grow up learning that independence is strength, others grow up learning harmony is strength. So, one person might feel confident speaking up, while the other might feel responsible staying quiet. Neither is weak, neither is superior. They're just trained under different social expectations. This is why two people can face the same situation and react completely differently. One feels guilty choosing themselves while the other feels trapped choosing others. One associates success with personal achievement while the other associates it with family stability. What looks like personality is often cultural conditioning. For some people, expressing emotions feels natural and healthy, while the other, it feels unnecessary or even irresponsible. So one person says, I need to talk about this, while the other says, I'll deal with it on my own. Both are coping the way they were taught. This is where a lot of judgments come from. We call people cold, selfish, submissive, too emotional, when in reality they're just operating under different rule books. Once you see this, something changes. You stop asking people, why are they like this? Or you just ask, what shaped them to become like this? So here's a part most people never reach. Once you understand that your thought, reaction, and instincts were shaped by family, filtered through culture, and reinforced by society, something important happens. You stop taking everything inside your head as absolute truth. You realize not every belief is you, not every reaction is choice, or not every fear is instinct. Psychologists don't say awareness instantly changes you, but it does something more powerful. It gives you space. Space between stimulus and response, beliefs and identity, emotions and actions. And in that space, choice begins. So next time you catch yourself saying, I'm not expressive, I'm bad at confrontations, I always put others first, try asking one different question. Where did I learn this? Because many traits we defend as personality were once our survival strategies. They kept us accepted, kept us safe, and kept us loved. And this isn't about rejecting your past or blaming your parents or fighting your culture. It's just about understanding it. Because you can respect what shaped you without letting it control you forever. When you see yourself this way, you will start seeing others differently. That person isn't cold, they learned restraint. That person isn't selfish, they just learned independence. That person isn't weak, they just learned harmony. Different environment, different rules, different survival. This is what this channel is about. Not motivation, not life hacks, but understanding the invisible forces that shapes how we think, feel, and become. If this video made you reflect even a little, then you're exactly who this space is for. In the next videos, we'll try to explore more such ideas. If you want to keep exploring psychology and sociology not as theories, but as lived examples, you might want to stay. Thank you so much.